This can be a real drag, and you'll find yourself at what I call the F it ledge, where you just don't care anymore. You don't want to do anything. You've given up on everything and you are just miserable. That's not a place where you want to be. Hi ladies, welcome back to Fertility Mom. Today we're going to get straight into it and talk tactics and tools that you can use to help give yourself some stress relief. Now, we're not in the business of avoiding stress. You cannot avoid stress. It's just part of life. So rather than avoid stress, what we need to do is we need to get really good at recognizing when our body is feeling stress. Now, we have our sympathetic nervous system. That's our fight, flight, or freeze nervous system. That's the system that kicks in and allows us to run away from a life-threatening danger like a lion is chasing after us. Now, not many of us have lions chasing after us. What we do have are work deadlines and fights with family and financial stressors, and the car broke down, but I'm late for work. We have these kinds of stressors, and these stressors can set off our sympathetic nervous system just like being chased down by a lion can. We don't want to live in that sympathetic state. We want our parasympathetic nervous system to be the nervous system that is mostly in control most of the time. Parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest. It's your calm state. This allows good blood flow to your uterus and your reproductive organs. It allows good digestion of your food and nutrient absorption. We want to live most of our day in our rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system state. Now, yes, your sympathetic nervous system is going to be active sometimes. The goal is that when that sympathetic nervous system kind of takes over, we're able to bring our bodies back into that calm state rather quickly. What can happen a lot of times is, especially when we're under chronic stress for a long time, is that we find ourselves in a sympathetic state most of our day and even into nighttime hours. This can really wreak havoc on our hormones. It can have an effect on our fertility, and it can really make us miserable, which is really not what we want. We want to be joyful and happy. And yes, the trying to conceive journey can be hard, but we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can, not only for our bodies so that we can get pregnant, but also for us. We want to be happy and joyful throughout the process. So a couple of quick tactics for you today to start using and to start thinking about how can I use these things to help minimize the stress I'm feeling so that I can be happier and enjoy the journey more. So one of the first things that we need to do to bring our bodies back into a relaxed state is to close the stress loop. Now, we could talk forever about what this means and everything like that, but basically what it means is whenever you have a sympathetic nervous system reaction where your body is flooded with cortisol and other hormones and you're having all of these biological reactions happen that are making your body ready to fight a danger or to run from a danger, these are things you don't need in your body coursing through it all day long, all the time. What we want to do is we want to close that stress loop. Have you ever had like a near miss, like you've almost been hit by a car, or you were walking across the street and then a bike comes whizzing by and like you can feel the air on your nose and you're like, oh my God. You have a moment where you have these hormones rushing through your body and then you kind of have this like, oh my God, did you guys see that? Holy crap. And you have this moment where you kind of like laugh it off or you shake it off. Your body like shakes off these hormones. When we're sitting at work or we're doing something where we're not burning that off, we can get stuck in that sympathetic phase and those hormones will stay surging in your body. So we need to close the loop. The best things for this usually are things like exercise or walking. But if you're not in an area where you can do exercise or walk in the moment, something you can do is deep breathing. Now, I love deep breathing. There are a couple different ways that you can do it. You can follow a 5-5-10 where you breathe in for 5 seconds, you hold it for 5 seconds, and then you breathe out for 10 seconds. You can do a 4-7-8, which is you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, you breathe out for 8. These are things that in the moment, if you cannot get up and you cannot move around, deep breathing helps. Another thing that I really like is EFT tapping. I can do a whole nother video about this if you want me to. If that's something you're interested in, hit me down in the comments below. These are some things that help you to close that loop, but whatever it ends up being for you, we need to make sure we are closing that loop. Something else that is really important to do when we're under periods of stress is increase our sleep. When we're not sleeping enough, our stress resilience is very, very low. You're less able to handle things, you're less able to think through a problem, and you're quicker to get angry or irritable with any situation. This is something that's really important to do. If you're averaging anywhere between 4 and 6 hours a night, we have got to increase this. Take it from somebody who's worked in healthcare for 20 years. If you're averaging 4 hours a night, you got to do something about it because you're on the road to burnout, which I can do a whole separate set of videos on. Burnout is not where you want to be. So we need to boost your sleep. And you're probably thinking, I'm so stressed out, I can't fall asleep, or I'm so stressed out, I wake up in the middle of the night. Here are a couple things that we want to make sure we're doing to help boost your sleep. You want to do a brain dump. Do a brain dump before you go to bed. It doesn't have to be right before you go to bed. I recommend doing it a few hours before. So maybe after dinner time, sit down with a journal or a piece of paper and just write down all the things that are in your brain that you need to get out, things to do and things you don't want to forget. And oh my gosh, I have to finish doing the laundry and I have to make sure that this person's thing is. Write it all down in your brain dump and put it next to your bedside table at night. That way, if you wake up in the middle of the night and something is bothering you, write it down on that sheet and you can explore it and look at it when you wake up in the morning. The other thing that you can do is you can use a little bit of melatonin to help you sleep at night and magnesium glycinate. If you are under high stress, magnesium glycinate is a great thing that you can add in at bedtime to help you sleep a little bit more. If you're a night owl and you're going to bed super late, try and push that bedtime up by 15 minutes every 4 or 5 days. After just a few weeks, you'll find that you're getting a half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour more of sleep. And you will see that you're able to get through your day a little bit better and you're not spiked into a sympathetic stress response easily. You'll find that you're able to handle things a little bit more. Ideally, you want to get 8 hours. Between 8 and 9 for many women is where we need to be. And during your period phase, many women need even more than that. They need between 9 and 10. So take the time, look at what you need for sleep, and make sure we're increasing the hours. The third thing that we're going to talk about today is actually something that I talk about a lot with my patients, and that is finding joy in the process. And this can be said for anything, but especially in the trying to conceive journey, if you've been doing it for a long time, it can start to feel like a major drag, and then you're just miserable. All you can think about all the time is having a baby, and why isn't it happening faster? It can be a really big drag on your life and it can cause a lot of stress. So one thing that I end up talking to my patients a lot about is what are some things that you enjoy doing that give you joy? Do those things. If it's having a cup of coffee in the morning outside when the sun is rising, do that thing. If it is going out to dinner with family or your spouse or a friend every week, do that thing. If it's going rock climbing, something that you gave up doing because you heard maybe you shouldn't be doing this thing while you're trying to conceive, do that thing. When we go through our day and there's nothing to look forward to and nothing that gives us joy, then our stress goes through the roof and there's nothing that takes it away. There's nothing that breaks that loop for you because everything you're doing is in service of trying to have a baby. This can be a very bad place to be in and you can find yourself being really, really miserable. My recommendation usually is what I start with is sit down and make a list of 10 things that give you joy that you want to start doing again or you would like to start doing. So maybe you want to find a new hobby. I like to play the ukulele, and so that's something that I do find I will drop it when I'm in times of high stress and I find that I'm in this loop or I haven't really done anything I've enjoyed for a long time. That's one thing I go back to all the time because I do enjoy playing music and I enjoy singing. This might be something that's interesting for you, right? Well, maybe you used to do a lot of drawing. Maybe you used to paint. Maybe you used to play music, piano, ukulele, or something like that. And you notice that it hasn't really been something that you've done for a while. Make a list. I want a list of 10 things that bring you joy. And if you sit down to make that list and you have trouble thinking of 10 things, then you need to make a list of 3 things and you need to do all 3 of those things in that week because that will start those creative juices flowing and you'll start to find, oh, I can do that. I used to like doing this and I like doing this. You'll find it. It will come, but you have to start. So make that list and start doing something from that list at least once a day. All right, ladies, I hope that video was helpful for you. If you find yourself in a very stressed out position and you are just miserable, hit me down in the comments. Let me know what's going on for you. Let's talk about this. This can be a real drag and you'll find yourself at what I call the F it ledge, where you just don't care anymore. You don't want to do anything. everything, you've given up on everything, and you are just miserable, that's not a place where you want to be. So hit me down in the comment box. Let me know if that's happening for you. We'll keep this conversation going. I can do a whole video series on all the things that you can do to help with stress. And as always, ladies, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.